Hello, I'm Tim. I'm our customer evangelist here at ActiveCampaign. You are here for the monthly product updates webinar. If you're not here for that webinar, welcome anyway. You're going to love it. We have so many things to talk about this month. All right, let's dive into some product demos. We have some amazing stuff to talk about today. Let's talk about the Outlook integration. When you're in Microsoft Outlook and you click on any email in any folder, there's a little blue ActiveCampaign icon at the top right of the email. When you click that, it loads the ActiveCampaign sidebar. This sidebar will provide all sorts of information about that contact from your ActiveCampaign account if they exist. And if not, you can add that contact to your ActiveCampaign account from this sidebar within Outlook. So here we have a contact that exists in my ActiveCampaign account. Today we're going to talk about a new feature we've added to this existing Outlook integration, and that is the ability to add deals and add and edit tasks. So let's take a look at deals first. I don't have any deals for this contact in my ActiveCampaign account, so I'm going to hit the plus button and I'm going to go to add a deal. So I'm going to call this the first deal. It's worth $250. I'm going to put it in the only Group A pipeline to contact stage and choose my contact and hit add. Well, there we go. I was able to add a deal for this contact to my ActiveCampaign account directly from Outlook without ever leaving Outlook. So let's say I want to add a task for this contact. I can go ahead and add a task called call about pricing. I can set my due date and time. I can add a description. Don't forget to call them about the introductory pricing. And I've now added a task to ActiveCampaign from Outlook without ever leaving Outlook. In the Tasks tab here, I see a list of all my tasks, and I can click a specific task and then edit it. Maybe I actually want to rephrase this task title to be Call About Introductory Pricing. There we go. It is now called Call About Introductory Pricing. We had a lot of ideas from folks like yourself submitted in our ideas portal for a Magento integration over the years. As you can see here, this is just a small handful that I could fit on the screen. And actually, we've had a Magento integration for a long time. It was for Magento 1 though. And we now have an integration for Magento 2. So if you go to the Magento marketplace now, you will see, if you search for ActiveCampaign, you will see ActiveCampaign. We have an extension available there now for Magento Store version 2. And of course, you can also connect your Magento store from within ActiveCampaign. If you go to the settings page and then the integrations tab, and you hit add integration in the top right, you will now see in the add and integration modal, Magento is right there, smack dab in the middle. And then of course, when you connect there, you will be redirected to the marketplace, add the extension, input your API credentials, and boom, you now have a connection between your Magento 2 store and ActiveCampaign using our deep data e-commerce technology. So it will automatically sync in orders, abandoned carts, all the good data you need to better understand how your customers are interacting with your store. And then of course, most importantly, how you can market to them better based on their purchase activity in your Magento 2 store. All right, let's talk about the Content Manager. This is something that people have been asking for a long time. We had so many ideas for improving our image manager, from folders to permissions to bulk uploading and all sorts of other ideas. We went through there, and this, as you can see, is just a handful of these ideas. But this is what inspires us to continue to iterate on our product, to continue to provide software that truly is easy to use and helps you grow your business and lets you focus more on the things you want to focus on. This is basically, part of this is the revised and improved image manager But we've gone even further with that, and we've thought about this as a content manager, as a way to manage all the content that you'll be uploading into ActiveCampaign and eventually be able to use throughout ActiveCampaign. So today, what we have is when you go to the campaigns page in ActiveCampaign, there's a new menu item for Content Manager. So when you head over to Content Manager, you have, first of all, you get to see all the images that you have uploaded into ActiveCampaign. And the really cool thing here is that you can create folders. So I have a food images folder, I have a sports images folder. I'm going to create a folder called pancakes. And so if I go to pancakes, there's no content in pancakes yet, but I'm going to go ahead and add a file. I'm going to add my pancakes image. There we go. There's my pancakes image. So now I can actually go ahead and rename this. So I can do that from the gear menu here, or if you click it, you get a whole editor for this image. So that includes both manipulating the image itself, but also the metadata on the image. So I can rename this to stack of pancakes. I can enter some alt text that says this is a stack of pancakes with a fruit topping. And you can add keywords. This is the really cool part. Our content manager allows you to search for content with keywords in the title or with keywords that you specify that are attached to the image. So for example, let's say I do keyword pancake. I'm going to do fruit, and I'm going to do, this is a breakfast food, so I'm going to do breakfast. And there we go. Got a stack of pancakes. And I have all my information updated. So I mentioned the metadata is something you can change here, but you can also manipulate the image itself. So for example, if I wanted to add text, I could go ahead and add text. I add text that says, look at this pancake. When I'm viewing my images here, I can sort in various ways, newest first, oldest first, by file size. Speaking of file size, I'm looking at the grid view here, but I can also go to a list view. So it's more of a it's more of a vertical table list view here where I have the image, the name, the size, keywords, so I can view more information about the image here. And then of course, as I mentioned, if I want to search, for example, if I want to search for breakfast, there we go, there's my stack of pancakes because I gave it the breakfast keyword right here. The last thing you can do that's really cool is I can go ahead and in bulk add all of these images to a specific folder. So I could go add them all at once to all sorts of food. So now when I go to all sorts of food, they're all there. This is our new content manager. This is iteration number 1. This is version number 1. There will be more iterating on this, so you'll see more in the future, but I think this coming out of the gate is super strong. We took all of the feedback that we saw over the years and throughout our history from customers, and we went ahead and thought about it and came up with the content manager. So hope you love this. I think it's going to be a really great tool for you to use. It's going to help you stay organized in ActiveCampaign. I hope you love it. Let's talk about pages. This is ActiveCampaign's landing page builder. You can always go to Site in the left-hand main nav, and then that will load Pages on the Pages tab. So what we've added here now is a small tweak, but a big one that will hopefully help you quickly find your pages. There are thumbnails now for each page that you have on the Pages page here. For each page, there is a thumbnail of the actual page that you created. So not only can you find the page by the name of the page, but you might be able to more quickly find the page visually by seeing the thumbnail. So a small little tweak, but a tweak that will hopefully enable you to move around ActiveCampaign quicker and get things done quicker. Let's talk about the Android app. In the Android app, you can see all the different campaigns from your ActiveCampaign account. What we've now added is a search for the campaigns. So this is really handy because now you can easily find the campaign you're looking for by searching. This is really helpful when you have a lot of campaigns in your account and you don't want to keep scrolling through to find a specific campaign. You can just use the search bar now to search for keywords that are in your campaign title, and we will filter down to those campaigns that match the keyword search. Also in the ActiveCampaign Android app, we now have saved responses. Saved responses, if you remember, are canned responses you can set up in your ActiveCampaign account that can contain personalization, and you can use these canned responses, or saved responses as we call them, when writing emails to contacts via the one-off email function in ActiveCampaign. So if you're on the contact's profile in ActiveCampaign, you go to the bottom to hit send email, you can use a saved response in there to save yourself time if you're kind of sending a lot of one-off emails. You can now access those saved responses in the ActiveCampaign Android app. And so now if you're sending a one-off email from a contact profile while in the Android app, you can use that saved response in your email app, and you can save some time. Let's talk about the ActiveCampaign iOS app. We now have home widgets available for the iOS app, specifically related to tasks. You will now see when you search for a widget and you search for ActiveCampaign, you will see we have 4 different widgets now. We have the today's tasks, which shows you how many tasks and how complete they are. Today's next task, which will show you not only how many tasks there are today, but also it will show you details about one of them. And then we have a horizontal view where you can see all that information in a horizontal view. And then we have a larger view as well. So we have all sorts of different options here based on what works best for you in terms of layout and information shown. Pretty cool though. Really easy to get your task information on your home screen now on your iPhone. Let's talk about the ActiveCampaign mobile conversations app. So this app lets you view conversations from your ActiveCampaign account. You can chat in the conversation from your mobile device. What we've added now is when you go to a specific conversation in the app, at the very top of the conversation, it now shows what page the contact came from or the visitor came from. So it says conversation began with a date and a time, and then it shows the exact URL that visitor or contact came from when they started the conversation. So this is super useful because you can see exactly where the contact came from and understand where they are chatting in from on your website. Last month, one of you asked about getting a demo of how ActiveCampaign's Conversations product works with Facebook Messenger. So today I have our Conversations product manager, Jaron, here, and he is going to do just that. He's going to give you a demo here of how Conversations works with Facebook Messenger.
So Conversations is an online platform that lets our clients engage with their prospects and customers via chat and email. All conversations are stored in a unified inbox that team members can use to view and manage customer interactions. So again, today we support web chat and email, and Messenger is the next critical communication channel we would like to provide to our customers so that they can communicate more efficiently with visitors that might engage with their Facebook business pages, right alongside other inbound channels that they use today, such as live chat and email. Initially, it's going to be supporting person-to-person interaction, but we plan to introduce the option to support responses via chatbots to also help automate first touch points to ensure a timely and positive customer experience. So for our customers, in order to connect their Facebook account, the user would need to navigate to our channel settings page within the platform. You can see here through these settings, you're able to manage all of the channels that you have active. So in this example, I have web chat and email active, and I want to connect Facebook Messenger. So I'm going to go ahead and click this and be taken to the OAuth process. So I'm going to log in to my account. I'm going to confirm that I want to continue as Joshua. And as I go through the flow, I can select which business pages I want to have permission within conversations, as well as the ability to manage pages and manage access and page conversations within Messenger for this page. Done. Okay, I'm now linked. After the OAuth is complete, we can see that Facebook Messenger is now connected, and I can manage my settings within this Facebook Messenger channel config within our overall settings view. So here I have the ability to completely remove an account. I have the ability to manage my connections if I want to change any permissions, and I can adjust the connection based on individual pages. If I have multiple pages, I can turn the status on or off, essentially disconnecting the ability for new inbound messages to come through to my inbox, or I can completely disable my Facebook Messenger. So now that I am connected, I can go back to my inbox and as an agent be ready for any new inbound messages to come through. So putting myself in the visitor's shoes, I'm engaging with this test page that as the customer that I enabled access to the inbox. I'm going to go ahead. I have a quick question about my order. So I send that through. You can now see that my message from Jaden is appearing right in my inbox. I can see that the channel is from Messenger. I can quickly reference who I'm engaging with and the originating page as far as that inbound question came through on. As the agent, I can manually communicate back from a one-to-one perspective. Then jumping back to Jaden, I can see the message come through successfully. So I can continue my conversation back and forth and have all of this critical communication happen side by side with additional channels that my business uses.
All right, let's talk about task outcomes. I'm really excited about this. We now have task outcomes. So this is the ability to, when you complete a task, you now have the ability to specify what the outcome of that task was. So that means you can predefine outcomes for every task type. And then when somebody actually completes their task, they can choose what the outcome of that task was, which then can be reflected in reporting. First thing you have to do is set up your task outcomes. So if you go to your settings page and then the tasks tab, you can enable or disable this. Task outcomes comes disabled. So you have to enable it, which I've done. It'll turn green up here. And then for every task type, you can define the outcomes. So I've already defined my call ones. So if I assign a task of call to one of my sales reps, and then they go ahead and call the lead, depending on what happens, the sales rep can then mark the outcome of that call. So it could be no answer, not interested, needs callback, etc. Let's say I want to add a new outcome for email. I'm going to call it, my new outcome will be, check back in a few weeks. So for each outcome, you can specify the sentiment. So in this case, that's neutral. It's neither positive nor negative, so I'll hit save. So I'm going to add that one to email and hit save. So now that I have my task outcomes set up, let's go look at how to actually use them in tasks. So I'm going to head over to my deals. I'm going to head over to a specific deal. So let's add a task. So I'm going to add a task called call the lead. Keep this simple. Add task. So now if I go ahead and complete this task, I can select what the outcome was. So let's pretend I called the lead and I left a voicemail. And I can even leave a little info here. Called them, left voicemail, mark complete. There we go. So now when I load the deal task overview report, in my filters, I have task outcome. So I can filter the report data here by a specific task outcome. I can also see data on that task outcome, or on the various task outcomes. So I can see a graph here. You can also see outcome by rep, outcome sentiment by rep. This is great because this helps you understand how your reps are performing, what the average sentiment is, and helps you kind of get a better picture of their activity in this report. Let's talk about SMS for a minute. A little while back, we released the ability to add a sender name to your SMS messages. So you set this up in your ActiveCampaign settings page under addresses, and you can now have a sender name for each address. Well, now, as you see in the screenshot on the left, when you're setting up an SMS message send action in your automation, you can see the sender name in that modal. So we remind you this is the name that will appear to your contacts that the SMS is coming from. On the right side here, you can see if there's more than one SMS sender name set up in your ActiveCampaign account, you can now easily choose with that dropdown which sender name this SMS message should come from. So this is really helpful because you can have multiple sender names set up for multiple addresses, and now you can customize the message in each automation to come from whichever sender name works best for you. As always, every month, in addition to delivering new features and iterating on things we've already released, we are also always focused on continuing to improve the performance of our platform. This month alone, we had 8 performance improvements, and these, when I look through the list, were primarily in the CRM. We are really invested in building a world-class CRM that truly fits the needs of all the types of businesses that use ActiveCampaign. In addition, we want our software to be performant, fast, secure, but we also want our software to be intuitive and easy to use. And that's why this month we have 11 design enhancements. And again, primarily in CRM, but also in automations. Automations is core to everything we do and everything you do. So we're always thinking about how we can make it easier to use and more intuitive to use. This month, let's talk about the Calendly integration. So if you're not familiar, Calendly is software that allows you to handle appointment booking and scheduling. It's really easy to use software, and it integrates very nicely with ActiveCampaign. So you can sync appointments and appointment data and data from the contacts who are booking the appointments all into ActiveCampaign. Well, this month we've released some updates to the Calendly integration that allow you to sync in custom questions and answers, so like custom fields from Calendly into ActiveCampaign. This is something that many of you submitted ideas for in our ideas portal. So as you can see from the screenshot here, on the right we have our Calendly form where we have 2 custom questions. What is your account URL, and tell us about your CX app. And then on the left, you can see where we map in ActiveCampaign the Calendly fields to the ActiveCampaign fields. And we see on the left under the Calendly dropdown, we have those 2 custom questions available to map. So this is really cool. Now you can get all that data from your Calendly appointment forms into ActiveCampaign super easily.